Hi, it's Tracy from Glitter Thumbs, and I'm here to talk to you about embossing. Now, embossing is creating a raised effect, usually on paper. This card right here that you're looking at is using an embossing technique with a folder and also with a powder. If you look at the little pink circle, it says "You make the world a better place," and it's creating a raised effect using a type of powder and a heat setting tool. Now, the powder itself is clearly labeled. This one specifically is Stamping Up. It's Melon Mambo, which is a pink color. And I really enjoy using this one a lot. And you will need some type of sticking or adhering agent. This one is Versamark. It's sold at your regular craft stores. And I would recommend an embossing buddy. Now, embossing buddy has a little bit of a powder inside of it, and it's going to help with static electricity and make sure that those powders do not stick to the paper, and you'll see why in a minute. I'm using a stamp that's called, I think this one's called You Make a Better Place, and it's by Stamping Up too. That stamp specifically is saying that, as well as a heat tool. And you do not want to use a hair dryer for this. Hair dryers are going to create a lot of heat, but it's also going to blow and force that air too fast onto your paper, and it's going to cause your powder to scatter everywhere. So do not use a I've been asked this a lot. Do not use a hairdryer. You need a heat tool. Now, the stamp itself, you're going to stamp with a Versamark. Now, this is a watermarking stamp pad. It's a very slow drying, and that's going to really help with making sure that that ink does adhere. Now, in this picture, in this video, I did not use the Stamping Buddy specifically, so you can see what happens when you stamp it and you actually empty that embossing powder back into the container. You can see on the corner that this embossing powder, due to static electricity, has stuck to the side of the stamped image. It's impossible to get out. You can take a little brush and do it, but I'm kind of showing you here why it's important for you to use that embossing buddy, because once you apply that heat tool to it, then you're going to also melt the outside as well. Now, we're going to be using some framelits afterwards, which aren't going to really be a big deal, but you can see if you weren't cutting that image out, it's going to not look all that professional, not as nice. Now, it's still a really cool shiny look, but that's still really bumpy. So use this stamp embossing buddy. I'm just going to turn it over and try it again. Now, this time I'm going to use the embossing buddy, and I'm going to lightly tap it all over the paper. I'm going to take my stamp, once again, ink it up. Now, this is for demonstration purposes, so I really am not being careful about making sure that all the inked surface is properly stamped. There are a couple little sections in there that I missed, but like I said, you're going to stamp it. You're going to apply your embossing powder to it. That Versamark is going to ensure that it sticks really well. Tap it lightly back into the container, or however you want to do it, and you can see it's still a little bit blotchy. It's not a uniform stamped image, but look, that Stamping Buddy or the embossing buddy really did help with making sure that static electricity did not hook to the paper or attach to the paper. So I have no extra embossing powder attached to my card. Now I'm going to use my heat tool. The heat tool is great because you're going to apply some nice heat to your embossed image. And once it's done, look at that shine right there. It didn't take very long, but once it's almost like a magic trick. Once you apply that heat, you'll see the transition very easily between that powdered form and then once it melts. So it's a really cool deal. I have a lot of kids that I work with as an elementary school sub, and they love this technique. It's like magic. Here is You Make the World a Better Place. It's been cut out with some framelit dies to make sure it looks pretty. And it's been attached to the card, and like I said, you can see that embossed raised image with the card itself. I hope that helps you with getting your first step into scrapbooking and embossing. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Please follow my YouTube channel or subscribe to it. Or you can visit my website at www.glitterthumbs.com. Thanks for watching.